Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Zenith El Primero 36,000 vibration per hour Classic Cars Edition from 2016. You can see this stellar Geneva Wave ruthenium dial El Primero chronograph inspired by classic automobiles, and you can purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this extraordinary timepiece, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this handsome automotive inspired high beat integrated column wheel chronograph. Now the watch on my wrist represents one of Zenith's best modern design efforts. I remember when I was at Basel World 2016, during a presentation of the Zenith novelties, I was lucky to have one-on-one time with their rep. And while there were Fusée and Tourbillon offerings in the collection for the year, the most visually striking, balanced, and memorable was this El Primero Classic Cars. Part of it's the dial, part of it's the proportion, part of it is the sense that a classic car and a classic chronograph simply belong together. And you'll note that this watch and my wrist belong together, as it's 42 millimeters across the round of the case, not including pushers or crown. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it's a perfect fit, large and contemporary without being oversized and overwrought. This is a timepiece that's also relatively slim in profile. 13 millimeters thick, you'll note the step to the case flank and the dramatically rounded off box section sapphire, those two features allowing even a tight dress sleeve underneath a suit jacket to ride up and over the flank of the case. Now you'll note from lug to lug, it does have a little bit of a sprawling dimension. 50.5 millimeters is more than any vintage El Primero, but far less than modern oversized references. I would say that if you can wear a modern 40 millimeter Rolex with solid end links, you can wear this one with perfect proportion, security, and no overlap of lug beyond the edge of your wrist. I would even say that down to 14.5 centimeters circumference, if you need a number, that's your lower limit for wearing this one well. And you will want to wear it because it is handsome even outboard of the case, as this double crimped perforated style calfskin strap recalls vintage upholstery, steering wheels, driving gloves. This is the imagery of a 1960s Jaguar XKE interior, or perhaps the upholstery of a 1950s Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. It just may be the pattern on your favorite pair of driving gloves, dedicated to whatever cars and whatever roads suit you. It works for all occasions. It's even thoughtfully underlaid with vulcanized rubber to separate the calfskin from the oils, heat, and moisture of the wrist for long-wearing durability. Also note a full deployment clasp here. You can see twin trigger actuated, fully finished inside and out, nicely made with a curvature to match the arc of the underside of your wrist, all of high polish. This is a deluxe appointment for a model that was designed as a value inclusion in the catalog. This wasn't the Georges Favre-Jacot Tourbillon Fusée from that year. No, this was one designed to make Zenith accessible to those who love machines of all sizes. So it's impressive to see rich appointments like this strap, the rubber underlay, the full deployment clasp rather than a pin buckle. They all take a back seat, however, to the dial, minding for a moment that the case is quite shapely with sharp, defined creases, character lines, and bevels. You can see the contrast between the polished and the satin elements. You can also see that rather expensive box section sapphire. I wanted to show you these details because they speak to the attention lavished on every component and facet of this timepiece. But again, the dial is the star here. You can see best from this angle the Geneva waves, or Côte de Genève, running from 12 to 6 up and down the dial with a dark ruthenium coating. It is incredibly striking and incredibly appealing. It doesn't have the severity of a black dial, nor does it have the effete, over-refined sort of genteel sensibility about a silver dial. It's somewhere in between. It's almost like combining the elegance and the undertone of menace that you would see on a 1960s Aston Martin DB5 Vantage or a DB4 Zagato. Nicely chosen. It also incorporates beautiful Diamond polished and faceted hour indices, another upscale appointment. It is a luminescent dial. It does have a little bit of luminescence after dark, and you'll also note that the dial features a tachymeter scale outboard for gauging the speed of your favorite race car over a standing mile or kilometer. I may as well start up the chronograph because that is the signature complication. You'll note the overlapping tricolor registers at the center, descended from the very first 1969-1970 A386 references. What is important about this particular iteration, if I may briefly move the hands from obstructing the primary dial, you can see that the original problem with the modern incarnation of this triple register, somewhat cropped layout, which was that you couldn't read the individual registers at some points, it has been rectified in this model, as you'll have no problem reading chronograph minutes or hours. You'll also note that there's a texture to the Côte de Genève that is uneven, with the ridges being thicker on one side, diminishing on the other. It's a nuanced and handsome treatment that contrasts nicely with the case back, where you're actually going to see engine turning rather than an abundance of Côte de Genève. Now, you will see it on the winding mass, which is partially skeletonized to enable a better look at the caliber 400. Take note, although this is a driving watch, it could be an informal diving watch, as you put it on a different strap, and the watch is water resistant to 100 meters, making it quite versatile. Whether you're racing at Le Mans or taking a swim on the French Riviera this summer, this could be your only timepiece. Now take note of the movement. It's an El Primero 31 joule automatic winding caliber 400, 50 to 52 hour power reserve, a high beat rate. It has that 10 beat per second double step cadence that causes the chronograph seconds hand to move more smoothly around the dial, and against the ear has a distinctly higher beat rate than you're used to hearing from the likes of those watches that are 18,000, 21,600, or even a modern 4 Hz beat rate. Now, the El Primero is also a good-looking chronograph movement. Many automatic chronographs are simply ugly. There's nothing to see. Not so with the El Primero. As you can see, the watch is as animated and engaging on the case back. You can see the traditional column wheel architecture, not there simply to feel crisp and sound good. It's also good looking, as you can see the interaction of the blue crenellated towers of the column wheel with the horns and levers of the chronograph mechanism. Also note, you can actually see the lateral clutch moving in and out to engage the chronograph at center. It doesn't feature hacking, but it does feature a quick set. This is the original high beat integrated column wheel automatic chronograph caliber from 1969. The caliber 400 is the closest technically to the original. And the attention to detail simply does not end with this watch. As you can see, even the chronograph pushers, red to reset, black to start and stop, are of different colors. This is a watch that captures the imagination and does so for, frankly, not a ton of money. Now, most automotive-themed luxury watches are distinctly branded. It's either Breitling for Bentley, Jaeger-LeCoultre and Aston Martin, Blancpain or Roger Dubuis and Lamborghini. Here, it's classic car-themed, which leaves you to ascribe whatever significance or branding you prefer while you're at the wheel of your favorite car. Do it with your favorite watch on your wrist.